appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route. Something, I repeat, has happened in the motorcade
50 years ago this month, the President of the United States had his head blown off in broad daylight. As is to be expected, there are those who will passionately argue that this event is of little historical significance. What is somewhat surprising is that those who argue thusly include some of the most respected academics and researchers of our era.
But it's a little bit like the huge energy that's put out on trying to figure out who killed John F. Kennedy. Who knows? And who cares? I mean, plenty of people get killed all the time. Why does it matter that one of them happened to be John F. Kennedy? If there was some reason to believe that there was a high-level conspiracy, it might be interesting. But the evidence against that is just overwhelming. And after that, it's just a matter, if it happened to be a jealous husband or the mafia or someone else, what difference does it make? It's just taking energy away from serious issues onto the ones that don't matter.
To be fair, nothing from Kennedy's background prior to his assuming office in 1961 would have given one any reason to believe that he would pose any serious threat to the establishment. After all, the famed Kennedy fortune had been accumulated entirely within the framework of that establishment. The dynasty's progenitor, Ambassador Joseph P. Kennedy, was a man of naked ambition who used his wealth to buy power and influence, and his power and influence to accumulate more wealth. His stock market manipulations of the 1920s, including pump-and-dump schemes and insider trading operations, were enough to get him appointed as head of the SEC under Roosevelt. Takes one to catch one, FDR famously quipped. And rumors of a seedier side to the fortune, including bootlegging in the Prohibition era and mafia involvement in the rise of both the family's political and economic fortunes, have long persisted. Kennedy himself had campaigned not on an era of peace and reconciliation with the Soviets, but on the worst Cold War propaganda. He had bought into a Rand Corporation-pushed lie about a missile gap between Soviet and American nuclear capabilities that had to be closed, when in reality, the gap went the other way. At the time, the Soviets had only 4 ICBMs in their arsenal, not the 500 touted by Rand. Kennedy signed off on the Bay of Pigs operation in April 1961, and in one of the major, if less remembered crises of the Cold War, the Berlin crisis of 1961, the Kennedy White House drew up plans for a nuclear first strike on the Soviets if a confrontation unfolded. But the image that might once have been painted of Kennedy as just another toady of the establishment has since been obliterated. In every respect, the documentary record shows that behind the scenes, Kennedy's experiences were transforming him into a significant roadblock to that establishment which had placed him into power. You've been watching a preview of this week's Eye-Opener Report. This 100% free media is provided by the subscribers of BoilingFrogsPost.com. Subscribers can log on now for the full report, which will be available to the general public in 3 weeks' time.